everybody and welcome to the February 2025 update from Clydebridge station. And this month there's a bit of a theme to it because it's a case of out with the old and in with the new. Later on in the programme we'll be looking at the new TransPennine Mark IICs from Accurascale, of which I've got two, which will replace the Lima Mark IIs that I've currently got on the TransPennine train. There'll also be a slight small preview to Model Rail Scotland as well. But the main focus of this month's update is going to be replacing the Quadrant Park nightclub. Now, I think we can all accept that this nightclub, if I put it down like the camera down like that there for you, it's not very good. It can be better, and in fact, it has been a lot better. It is a lot better now what I've got to replace it. This one was done during 2020 in the lockdown, and it was made from balsa wood. And if I can just very carefully take that out without demolishing the rest of the street, show you some of the problems with it. You can see the rough wood cuts up there. You can see the rough wood cuts there. And there, the entrance isn't symmetrical enough. It's not very good at all. But this is its replacement. And just get that butted up to there. There we go. And that is the replacement Quadrant Park nightclub, which you're going to see construction of this month. It's modelled on another building in Leven, Truth Nightclub on North Street, and in fact you can tell from this that it's an old cinema. Now, Truth Nightclub in Leven was actually the Troxy cinema, and it survived as a cinema right up until 1978 when it finally closed. In the 1980s, the Ambassador Snooker Club, what we now know as Sticks, expanded from its two halls in Kirkcaldy and Glenrothes to open a third one in Leven in the old Troxy. That survived until the late 1990s, when it early 2000s, when it did finally close, and it became an empty building for many years. A businessman bought it over with a plan to make it into a small indoor market, but instead he saw the potential to make it into a nightclub called Truth. And I can tell you it's a very popular nightclub indeed. They have their own Facebook page, which I'll put in the description below, and everything that you see on here has been made using items from scale model scenery. The only things that I've missed out on has been the paint and the Yoo-hoo glue, which was purchased from B&M or Home Bargains or the Pound Shop. The rest of the stuff is all purchases from scale model scenery, and links to those items that I've used will be in the description below. You can tell it's actually a taller building, but this is not as good a building as this. So the old Quadrant Park is going to be thrown out into the bin. It's surplus to requirements. It seemed a nice idea at the time, but this is much better, and it's actually more realistic, I think, as well. And if I just take you around to the sides here, you can see what it's like. Now, what you're about to see took me over 3 weeks to build, because obviously I was working as well, so I didn't get much chance to do it. You'll also notice that on the actual building here, I've got one of the notice board panels is missing a front on it. As I film this right now, I'm actually filming the beginning at the end. I've actually found that piece, and I'll retrofit it at a later time. You'll see that in the March update. So this is going in my rubbish box, and this is the Quadrant Park and how it got built. Now, it's not a full blown on, this is how I've done it video. talking through every stage and spoon feeding you. It's just the highlights of it. So I do hope you enjoy what you're about to see. If you've got any comments, queries, suggestions, please leave them in the comments box below. And also, if you haven't already done so, please consider subscribing and ringing the bell icon so you can be notified of when new videos appear on this YouTube channel. There's at least one per calendar month, although for February there's actually going to be one per week, because there's that much to talk about. So if everybody's ready, all aboard and enjoy the programme. Okay, so this is my plan here for the rebuilt Quadrant Park nightclub. Simon Poole suggested I do this on card or paper first, so this is it here. It's going to be 19 centimetres long. This section here is going to be identical to this section, 3.5 centimetres long there and there. This section is going to be 12 centimetres long, and there's going to be another bit in here which is going to be 8 centimetres by 10 centimetres. Difference in heights as well, 13.5 centimetres, 14 centimetres, 14.5 centimetres. So it is quite a challenging thing. I've also got doors to do, windows to make up. This is not a window. It's difficult to describe it, but you'll have seen it on the introductory footage. What that is, basically a panel with a little frame round it. There'll be framing round this area here and for here, and I'm sure on the windows of the on the main part. There's going to be decoration as well running along the bottom, and I'll put some decoration on the middle as well, and there'll be a painted decoration on the top too. To make the doors, this is the skeletal remains of the coping stone kit that comes from Scale Model Scenery, and what I can do is, the doors at Truth Nightclub have thin pieces of wood like that with the glass in between, and I can actually use these pieces to make the doors. What it does mean is that they'll have to be sprayed before getting applied. The window frames will also get spray painted white, but they're going to be black relief in these areas here. So some bits are going to be sprayed, some bits will have to be done by hand. Once the structure is made and completed, it will get sprayed with this dark grey 3 times. Then what will happen is I'll mask off the top bit, mask off the bottom bit, and the top part will be sprayed white. This is the same paint that will be used for the windows, the window frames. The Quadrant Park sign, the background will be red, as will be the projecting sign, and the decoration along the bottom will be red as well. That will be sprayed red. The doors will be red. The red paint is actually a red primer I got out of Halford's, and that's in the garage now, so you'll see to that later on. As well as this, I'm going to be using laser cut kit glue, which you can see in the pot there, and Yoo-hoo glue. I've got more of this, by the way. And this is 1mm modelling card from Scale Model Scenery. Now the links to the Scale Model Scenery stuff that I'm using are in the description below, but in fairness it's not an awful lot I am going to be using in terms of range of products. The likes of Yoo-hoo glue in the paints can be purchased from most retailers. The laser cut kit glue you can get from SMS or a model shop. The 3.5mm sections will get built first, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a thinner piece inside here for the windows to go on, so that when I cut the windows I'll also be able to cut them onto the thinner piece, and it'll give the windows some more depth. and that'll be done for the other side. It goes 3 centimetres deep, and it'll be 3.5 centimetres deep on this part here. There's a lot of work to do. It's time to get started, and I'm going to start, as I say, by doing the 2 outer sections first. This is a centre piece which measures 12 by 14 centimetres, and I've put on this extra piece on the top which measures 8 by 10, and if I actually turn it round for a minute, and you can just see it's a little bit squint, but what you've got there is a piece that it sits a little bit higher than this main centre piece. I've cut the windows out, as you can see on the raised piece. Once the glue dries, I'll be cutting them out on the other piece. The 2 outer pieces are already letting their second coats of primer dry. It is a bit cold out there. I've been using this stuff though. And this is going to be one of the pieces that will sit on the end and on the inside. With the outer pieces not here at the moment, I'll explain to you this way. Imagine that's an outer piece. This piece would sit, one bit would be like that, and the other be like that. And what you've got here is an outer piece that also has a support joint there. That's necessary. It'll join onto the one of the inner pieces going onto here. I know this is a bit the wrong size, but I'll just show you, and then it'll glue together. It'll provide some strength. I'm also going to be putting a strengthening piece in here too at some place. So I'll just take that away. Now the outer sections will have to get a priming. They'll be done grey, and then they'll also be painted white and black. The decoration for the bottom is now finally done, and these will be the pieces that will sit on the bottom. I've already cut 2 of them to size, and these are the pieces that will sit in the middle. Now these will be sprayed grey, and what will happen is this is the piece that's going to have the Quadrant Park name on it there. That will be positioned in a central spot, and then the letters will be applied. We'll talk about the letters in a little while, and there'll be another piece going up here that will also have Quadrant Park on it. And basically, it'll be something like that. Obviously, none of this can be applied yet until the priming has been done. I know that these are going to end up being the grey, same as the primer. I don't want to add them to it now because I've then got to paint the area, and I fear that if I painted the area while these were already stuck on, white paint would get onto them. I'd rather leave it to the end. My next job is to cut these spaces of the windows out, and then I'm also going to use this to cut the area for the doors. Now the doors, if we look at our plan, move my camera a bit, I'm not the world's best cameraman, am I? There is the section there for the doors with the Quadrant Park name. The doors are 2.5 centimetres high at the moment, but I could change that, and there's going to be 3 of them, and they will be set back. I'll get the spaces for the windows cut out first, and I'll get the spaces for the doors cut out, and then I'll take it from there what's going to happen next. These are the 2 outer section fronts. They've now been given 2 coats of primer, and they're ready to get painted. The painting will take place, however, once these are put onto them, and although I've got white paint there and an aerosol, it's going to be hand painted. Now I was also looking when I was building the centre section, and the bottom decoration was just still too big, so that's half a centimetre and 0.25 centimetre decoration. I'm much happier with that. Much better size. Obviously, as each bit gets done, it'll get repainted. It'll get repainted into red before getting put onto each one of these. The decoration will be red for the bottom and grey for the middle section, and obviously, as you can see here, that's what I'm referring to. Now I'm going to try and get the windows for here done. I'll get the window frames done first. Now what I'm going to try and do is do them as a complete unit, but I might have to just change my plan here. I might actually end up doing that. And what I'll do is there'll be a bit that will glue onto here, come out a little bit, and there'll be a bit that will glue onto there. And what that will mean is, I'm just trying to show you it with another one. It'll be out a little bit, and then there'll be a little dividing piece in the middle. Might actually be one of these. I'll try that. But failing that, and if these aren't going to be suitable for the doors, I'll make my own pieces for the doors. But I'm fairly confident that they'll be alright for the doors as well. So there'll be, it'll show a little bit of the white frame. I'll use build them up using laser cut kit glue, and then these ones I will spray white, and then I've got the decoration around to get made to go around there, and I'll actually be using this stuff. But the decoration for that will come nearer the end. Chuck that in there. And I've got more stuff coming in as a film from scale model scenery, which I'll do for here and here. So there's a lot to do. For the glazing, I'll just use this stuff here. This is just a little polythene of a clear plastic that some of the stuff comes in. Obviously that'll come after I've got these all built up first, and that's what I'm going to do next. I'm going to start building them up. It's starting to look a little bit more like the nightclub now. I've got to make a big confession here. I've managed to lose 2 cues. They're in here somewhere, and do you think I could find them? No. I might be able to salvage the situation, because it's to the bottom right here. See there? I might be able to make convert 2 O's into 2 Q's, possibly through that, or using another surplus letter like a Z. So the situation is salvageable, much to the disappointment of scale model scenery. I won't be at the moment placing an order for extra letters. Now this rather squint looking thing here is actually what's going to go in for the windows. If I can get that absolutely correct, it would look something like that. That needs to be stuck onto glazing, which will be, as I've shown you already, this stuff, and that will be left to dry. I've also, as you can see here, applied the decorative panel here and here, and I've also made a start at painting this. It's going to be at least 3 coats of white paint on it, and that's how the Quadrant Park sign is going to look. And as I say, the situation with the queues is salvageable, so that's not a problem. The doorways are going to obviously get done too. They'll be black in there with red doors. I'm still trying to work out exactly the best way to do the red doors. I'm still swithering on using these. They are a bit thin, but I think it's doable. I will experiment off camera. I'm going to have do a little bit more, and then I'll be taking a break from it for work commitments for a few days. And then once I've got this piece done here, if I concentrate on this one piece now, I can then get it put together. The back will then go on with it, and at least we've got one piece of the nightclub built. It'll still need to be painted as well, of course. That's another complicating factor, but as I say, progress is coming on there. Now, to go in here, as I say, I've got the parish notice board, and I took one out to have a look at it. Now, it's the one that's the ground mounted one with the legs, and I've cut the legs off, and that'll go in here, and the smaller one will go in here. They can't be applied until after this is painted black and the notice boards are painted red. These pieces here are going to go above the windows there, and they're going to come down in there. So I'm applying the decoration now, and as the glue's adhering, it's giving me a chance to do other things. The progress is coming along nicely. These are the two pieces that will go and connect onto this, and the inside piece here is going to go onto that. 3 coats of white paint have been applied to here, here and here. 2 coats of black have been applied to there, 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 there and there. These pieces have received the 1 coat now, so you'll need another 2 coats. What I've done here as well is I've put the windows in. So they sit like that. Now, I'm going to apply some of the decoration to this piece before I insert it into here, and this will be one of the side pieces then completed. A complication, however, is that I'm then going to have to later on add these pieces in as well. What I'm basically saying is it's not going to be easy to do. The decoration, the red decoration, is going to be a piece down here. And I'm going to show you this other thing. It's certainly drying, by the way, that, so it looks like the 2 coats will be sufficient, I should add on that. The other piece is this. Now, this looks like your normal communal garden parish notice board, and that's because that's what it is. It's from Scale Model Scenery. There we have Lima X-ray 239 Oscar Oscar. Justin and Tina have done a video building this as part of a video where they also built a girder bridge, and the link's in the top right hand corner. Basically, he built this one. You'll notice that on my one I've took the legs off. The reason for that is that it's going to be wall mounted, so I cut the legs off beforehand. I'm going to put this on the outer pieces, and the single one will go on the inner bits. I'll just show you to try and put them on there. Well, no, actually it might actually work with the 3. Let me tell you now. Will the 3 work? I'm not sure. I think I'll stick with my original plan. But the one that's got the 3 in it, that'll actually do for a couple other parts on the layout on the street scene at another point. The basics of it are, you take the bits out, glue it together. Now on the other side here is your inserts that go in. You could just see them on there. With 2 coats of black paint on there, and it'll look a bit faded black, so it'll look like a nightclub that's partly run down. But I must say that the second coat of black with the grey does give it a sort of grey-black effect, and I'm going to go with that, as I say, for the simple reason it gives it looks like it's a little bit run down and needing some TLC. One thing you cannot say about Truth Nightclub Leven, because it looks awesome on the outside. The challenge I'll have with putting this decoration in, by the way, is I'll need to make sure I don't press too hard when I actually apply it. It will be sprayed grey, by the way, before getting applied. And this is the stuff that's going to be going on the bottom that will get painted red. There's all sorts of other decoration that's still to go, and I've got to make windows up too for the rest of the stuff. But I'm going to now apply the first bits of decoration to this piece and then get it put onto that. There will be a back piece that will go on here, but that'll come later on in the build. Construction's proceeded well here. That's the first section, the left hand section, complete. It'll need some touching up there later on. This is the roof that will go over the centre section. If this turns out to be too short, actually I think that's going to be okay. It wouldn't have been a problem because it would have done for this section here, this middle part here. That's the doors in position there, and they're ready to get these little thin red pieces in. 1, 2, 3. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. They'll be glued in with laser cut kit glue. And then cut round them. These are the windows to go in this section here. They need to get glazed first. Like that. And then we'll do the ones that will go in here. Now to go in the very back of this, of course, I need to actually make a whole section up that will sit on the very back. Now what I'm going to do, just chuck that to out the nose, I think it's going to be, I'll make it like that so that it covers the whole back there. It'll have to be sprayed grey, because I could even do it, so if I do it that way, in fact, that's perfect. That'll get sprayed grey. I'll just use that there. Spray that grey with a couple of coats and it'll go into the back. It'll get glued onto these sections here. But it's coming on very well. The next point you see this, all that'll be left to do is to put the back on and the Quadrant Park sign on. It's going to sit in here and it's going to come out like that, so I've got to cut a couple more pieces that will go from the A to the A. Just going to check that. I think from the A to the P, or to allow the projecting sign to stick out. But this is a very, very important part of the project. I'm really looking forward to it. But the first thing is to get all the glazing done. That's what I'm going to do next. Well, there we have a bit more of it. Notice for this little notice board, I can't find the front of it. You know, the glass, the bit you glaze. So what I'll do is, if I find that I'll add it in retrospectively, but it's not a problem if I can't. I'll pick it up carefully. The doors are in position. And notice with the decor here, this is a problem. I didn't anticipate this decor is going to have to be a slightly different height. There you go. From this one. Not a great problem, no. And so what it meant was I had to make an alteration to the paint there. And then I'll add the decoration round that. I'll get the roof added here next, and it'll sit on like that. I've made a little notch in the roof though, so that it fits in where I've got the window. It's window glazing. And then the other piece can go on the top, and I'll make that towards the very end. And I've also got my backboard now for this. So you can see it's really coming on. Now, if I get that back down there, and I'm being very jings. I was being very careful with it as a piece come off, but I've got Yoo-hoo glue here, so I'll put that on the now. It'll sit something like that. And so there'll be a back piece there, so this will have to get cut to size, but I can't do that just yet. I've got to wait until I've got the whole structure built. I'll get that decoration back on. I'll get the roofing part put on, and I'll get this other side completed. It needs all the decoration on as well. But I must say it's really now as you add to things, they really take shape. That's the best description I can give. There we're now really nearing the end of the construction of the Quadrant Park. That's the back on now. That was left to dry overnight. I'm going to do the other side of the projection sign. On this piece here, I'll just put the building down like that. That'll go onto there, and the sign will be glued onto it like that. And I've got the information board to put in there. Do all that, the building's finished. It's not perfect, I know, but once I've got it done, I'm going to put it onto the layout to see what it's like. But I have to admit myself, it looks a hell of a lot better than the one I made out of balsa wood in 2020. You can see the cuts and that on it, and how rough the cuts are, unable to hide them. This is a much better looking building, I have to say. Yes, I could have done things differently. I could have wrapped it with white paper rather than paint it, but for the construction that I've done with it, I'm very pleased with it. Just to point out to you as well, because this is a bit low, the black here and here is a bit lower to make do with the outer panel here, this decoration is higher than that decoration. Nothing I can do about it, but that's what I've chosen to end up doing to solve that problem. The next image you'll see will be of the building on the layout. That's the old Quadrant Park, and there we have it on the layout now, the brand new Quadrant Park. We've got the projection sign on. That's actually been stuck on with Yoo-hoo, but the lettering has been stuck on with laser cut kit glue, and you can see it's still just drying a bit, but that is basically it. I'm going to leave the roof as it is for the simple reason it's got a slightly mucky appearance to it. Only thing it's left to put on this building is a burglar alarm cover, and I'll get one of those next month, well sorry, later this month at Model Rail Scotland from the West Hill Wagon Works stall. However, that is it. That is the new Quadrant Park building in place, and there we go. I'll butt it up against the Royal Bank of Scotland. Now, if I put the other one here, well, you can actually just see where the old balsa wood was. You can see the cuts in that, the overhanging sign. It's not really good at all, is it? That is a much better building, and I have to say, Truth Nightclub in Leven gave me the inspiration to make it like that, and I'm very pleased with it indeed. Let me know what you think in the comments below about this building and how it does look compared to the old Quadrant Park. Really is out with the old and in with the new. That's actually not the only thing that we've got this month that's out with the old and in with the new. Just to finish off this month's video, I'll tell you about a replacement for these. It's not just the Quadrant Park that's out with the old and in with the new in this month's update, because there's also something else, and it's these Transpennine coaches. These two are 2/3 of the Transpennine train that runs from Clydebridge to either Liverpool Lime Street or Manchester Airport via Manchester Piccadilly. These ones are bought on eBay years ago, and they're made by Lima. Very much dated. The Mark 1 BG is a Bachmann one you're familiar with, but we have these. Now they're from Accurascale, and these are Mark 2 Cs, and they will be the new coaches to be used on the Transpennine train. The Lima coaches, which is we're behind, they're going to be put on eBay. I'm very impressed with these coaches, but as I will keep saying, things like these are not worthy of just a couple of minutes mention in a video. There will be a full review of these, and it means that February is going to be a busy time for videos. What with the review of 47050, this video, my visit to Model Rail Scotland, and having a look at these, so it's quite a busy time. So I do hope that you enjoy the videos that you're seeing. But there will be a full review of these, which will also include a story of the Mark II coaches. But as I think you can tell already, they're light years ahead of what they're replacing. Now to Model Rail Scotland. Once again, Model Rail Scotland is taking place at the Scottish Event Campus in Hall 3 on the final weekend in February. It runs for 3 days from the Friday to the Sunday, and there will be quite a large variety of layouts that will be present at the show. In addition, there will be quite a large amount of traders, and there will be other stalls as well. More like what you would call railway associations. The event is the largest model railway show in Scotland, and it calls itself the largest independent model railway show in Britain. Layouts to look out for at Model Rail Scotland this year will include Largo Ward, which is being exhibited by the East Neuk Model Railway Club, and Eden Road TMD, which is being exhibited by the Cooper and District Model Railway Club. Over 50 layouts and 130 exhibitors will be there, and if you do wish to actually go and visit the show, the dates of the show are Friday the 21st, Saturday the 22nd, Sunday the 23rd of February. Tickets are now available to buy online, or they can also be bought at the door. But if you do buy them online, you get into the show half an hour earlier. The doors open at 10:30, but if you buy them online, advance tickets, you get into the show at 10 o'clock rather than 10:30. It'll be well worth a visit. There'll be plenty of people there, and I'll be there with my camcorder as well, filming a video for it. That video though is likely to go up on the Sunday after the show has finished, which will be Sunday the 23rd of February. I look forward to seeing you there if you are going to be there. You see in front of you 47406 Rail Riders, and I can tell you that they'll be one of the exhibitors there. Other exhibitors will include Harburn Hobbies, Shedring Hobbies, Video Scene, Bachmann, Hornby, Hornby magazine, Railway Modeller magazine, Accurascale. They'll be among the exhibitors there, and there'll be a large number of layouts there as well. These include Abbey Cove, which is in 00 gauge scale, Dounreay, which is in HO scale. We've already mentioned Eden Road TMD, Glebe Street in O gauge, Kyle of Macallan Local Shed in EM gauge, Malling Park West in 00 gauge, Trinity Dock Street Bridge in 00 gauge, Wolfstadt Austrian Railways in HO gauge, and there's York in the 2mm FS gauge. That's just a selection of what's there. I say I'll be there with the camcorder. I look forward to meeting you there. Now to some shout outs before we finish off this month's update. Firstly, I'm going to give a shout out to, it's one I gave a shout out to before, and that is Wessex and West, which is set in the same period that my layout's set in, but its location is in Cornwall. I think it's partly or loosely based on St Austell and Lostwithiel, but if you give that layout a check out, please. Wessex and West, you'll find him here on YouTube. Moneybrook Junction you'll also find here on YouTube, and he's a regular contributor to the live chat that's run by Jason Griffiths with his layout, Barnabas Junction. So there's two more shout outs for you from YouTube. And the last one I'm going to give a shout out to this month is a layout called Cheeky Tech, that's the channel's name, and if you could please give him a check out as well. Couple of non-railway shout outs, and first of all my good friends at Wrangler, the jeanswear company. Clydebridge station is a proud partner of Wrangler. Check us out at www.wrangler.com and it'll take you to the website in your country or territory. And the other shout out that I'm going to give this month is to some very good friends of mine. Well, they will be unless I go and actually get this wrong, so I'm going to be very careful on what I say here, but there's some very good friends of mine, and they're called Just the Brave. They're a boy band from Edinburgh and Glasgow. You'll find them on Instagram, Just the Brave Official. If you please check them out. Oh, and they're on Facebook as well. Well, that is the end of this month's update. I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope that you've learnt some things from it, or more importantly, got some ideas from it to do on your layout. The next video you'll see on this channel will be the Transpenning Coaches review, and then after that we'll be heading into the March update, where I'm going to do a little bit more work on the street scene, lay another section of road, and we're also going to be starting to add in some street furniture. And see these people up here, like this person, we're going to be adding him back onto the street scene again. And I'll also let you see what I got at Model Rail Scotland if I do get anything. I have already mentioned to you that I'll be getting burglar alarm covers from the West Hill Wagon Works stall. I'll need to get one on the nightclub. So that's the plan for next month, is to carry on work on the street scene. So all that remains for me to do now is to say thank you very much indeed for watching, and please do take care of yourselves, won't you, and enjoy your layouts. We'll see you soon. Cheerio.